Hi everybody, it is Wednesday night and time for our Booyah class, and we'll be making a layout tonight as well as a few treat holders. I'll show you how to make one of each kind so you leave this class really with being able to do this easily. Okay, I'm making sure that you're up on the screen. Yep. Okay, now we're going to make the layout first and foremost to get this done and out of the way. But the first thing I want to do before I even start anything is I want to use black ink and a sponge dauber to do my pieces. So let's see, I think they're right under here. I'm going to edge the pieces in black because that gives this even more of a Halloween look. And just to have that black shadow on the edge. So here are all my pieces. And I had to cut my dotted paper to 3 by 10. I had to get 4 3 by 10s versus the 10 by 9 because I didn't have another sheet of dotted and I didn't want to open a whole new packet for just that one sheet. So I like sponge daubers most of all when doing the edge of something, because really when you do the edge, you really want just the edge. And so a sponge dauber gives you that control you need, whereas a brush or a foam, especially the rounded ones, go a little bit more onto the paper, and we want it to be just on the edge to give it definition when it goes down on the page. And so that's what I'm doing, is just the edge. And I'm going to be doing this for a while, so if you still need to gather supplies, or if you want to sponge along with me, you can do just that. And I noticed something when I printed off the directions today. For some reason, my directions have, I just go over the last directions and do new ones. And the directions for this, for the layout, you're going to have to take some notes because I left the what a zoo directions on this page. And I don't know what I did. I don't know if I didn't save it quickly enough or if I just didn't save it at all. And I had them all written out, I know, but you move to another page and sometimes things like that happen. So, but I'll be telling you all the dimensions of how far to go, and there really isn't a whole lot of direction for the set of pages anyway. And I'll be doing some things just a little bit different so you can see. I'll do it mainly the same, but just a little bit different. Like I may not pop up the borders, the sticker borders, but I really like that look. So it's a great way to make something stand out. I love this purple. This is really a pretty purple. Gravity Grape. And the Terra Green that's in this packet is very nice as well. Okay, see, there's not that many pieces, so it really doesn't take that long. Very few pieces to the set of pages. When I can make you a set of beautiful pages using the least amount of paper possible, I love that because I love you to be able to put pages together quickly and easily. That's really important to me, is that I want your pages to be beautiful, have a place for journaling, and I also want you to not have to labor over them so much that you get tired of scrapbooking by the time you're done. And this one's a little thinner, so it takes a little longer. Tell me in the comments if you're working along or if you are just watching. Now this pattern is so easy, you could use any Halloween paper that you have. If you have Halloween paper from the past, please go ahead and use that if you don't have Booyah. Don't just not do the whole workshop because you don't have Booyah. Of course, if you really like it, you're going to want to order it, but don't let that stop you from creating. Because the most important thing is that you create. Okay, this little tiny 1/2-inch strip is a little harder to keep right on the edges. It wants to flex and move, and now we'll get these photo mats done. Now next Wednesday is our virtual crop. So it was this Wednesday that was the Booyah class because I wanted you to have time before Halloween to make treat holders if you needed them. And I also wanted you to have at least one set of pages done so that you can go ahead and print photos and have your Halloween pages done in no time at all. Okay, we're almost done sponging. I know it's really boring watching this, but you never know what I might say. Let's see, it's Wednesday, so Friday will be a release day, and we'll have something new to share with you for next Monday. At the end of this video, I'm actually going to give you a peek at the Days of December book. I have it all finished, and as soon as the Days of December, as soon as the Christmas Charm special ends, I'll start a group, and anyone that has purchased the Christmas Charm bundle will be in that group and can take my classes on how to put that book together. It's a really pretty paper, very traditional. And I like that. Okay, now we've got these 6 1x2 pieces that are banners. And we're only going to do 3 edges because once I cut them, then I'll go through and, because these have to be dovetailed. And so once they're dovetailed, then I'll go through and sponge the little V section that's in there. Okay, just a few more pieces left and then we can get to working. And like I said, you do not have to do this on your page. You do not have to add this sponging. I just want you to see what kind of depth it adds for a Halloween page. Probably one of the only times I ever use black on an edge is for Halloween. I just think it adds something very nice to that. And I just had a regular sponge dauber and then my close to my heart black ink, dye ink. I have some ink on the mats from the sponge dauber, so I'm going to wipe that off. All right, now I'm going to move these pieces out of the way and get my white paper down, and we're going to get started on this layout. Okay. The first thing that we're going to do is take a black journaling pen and go around 3 edges of a piece. The inside edge, you don't need to do that for your journaling line. Just the top and bottom and the outside edge. So it would be the left on the left page and the right on the right page. And we'll just get that done right away. Now, there's so many different ways to do this. Don't use a ruler because you want it to look really organic. And it looks a lot more organic if you just let your arm flow. You're gonna have some bumps and squiggles. Some of mine are so bad sometimes, but you know, you just want to have that doodle look to your page. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here. You see me do this on many pages. I really like the outside definition of the lines. Now we're going to do this next page, and we're going to keep the inside without a line. So the top, the bottom, and the right. Okay. And just go ahead and continue doing that. And this is the last line. Okay. That was that. Now, we've got our pages side by side. The next thing we want to do is attach that dotted piece. It'll go against on the left page along the inside edge and 2 inches from the bottom. So you have a 9-inch high piece. Mine is only going to be 3 because I only had that one piece of paper like I told you, so I had to make some alterations. Do that when you're working because you don't want to have to open a whole nother packet if there is a solution. And I've got my repositionable tape. And this is going right against the inside edge. Whenever you read in my directions along the inside edge, that means the edge where if you're using a 2-page, the edge where the 2 pieces meet. Okay, now we're going to do, my patterns will be off a little bit because I had to do this. So I won't have quite as much dot down here. That's okay. My own pattern is altered just a little bit. So refer to my picture that is finished versus the one that I'm doing if you want it to look exactly like mine. But I'm not going to mind this at all. So don't worry. And it saved a whole sheet of paper. So, all right. And if you're using another paper packet, you just want to make sure that you select patterns that mesh well together. Dots and argyles are really a nice combination. And you can save this pattern and use it for many other layouts. In fact, I should do a layout tomorrow using this pattern so that you can get an idea. Maybe something completely different like vintage chic. That would be something completely different than Halloween, but would show you how versatile a pattern is. Never get rid of patterns. You can use any paper for your patterns. And I was so happy to see so many of you placing a $100 order this month so that you could get that sketchbook. That is really a good sketchbook. Has a lot of great patterns, a lot of great samples in it. So you're going to like it a lot. And we never have too many patterns. Oh my goodness, never. All right. The next thing we want to do is grab this orange plaid piece that we cut. We cut 2 of them at 1/2 inch by 10.5 inch. And if you notice in the directions, I just want to call your attention to this. In the directions, I don't have a box for that because it's only the 2 1/2 inch by 10.5 inch pieces, and I didn't want to add a whole nother page to your directions because of that. So I just put it in a little box down here that you need that orange plaid. And that is going to go how far from the dotted edge? About 1/2 inch. Okay. And if you have a ruler, you can use your ruler to measure that 1/2 inch. And we're doing it 1/2 inch so that you can then put that border strip, the sticker border strip, on this. Okay. There we go. Now a 1/2 inch over here. A good ruler. That's one thing you need. And if you don't have one, we sell a 0 centering ruler that is very, very nice. I just am so used to grabbing my old one, you know, some habits die hard, right? Okay. The next thing we want to do is grab this border. Now on the original pages, I have this border popped up, and you can do that if you'd like. I'm going to show you what it looks like without it being popped up, because I always like to do that for you. I like to do one popped and one not if I'm making 2 layouts. So we're going to start this a little bit, like 1/4 inch away from the edge of the orange plaid. And then we're, oh, for goodness sake, I need to hold it down there. And then we're just going to line it up, and then I'm not 1/4 inch away because I'm having a hard time. All right, there we go. So that is the difference, and I'll show you the 2 side by side, and I'll do all the borders without popping them up. You can see that a popped up border adds a little bit more interest, but it all depends upon how thick you want your pages to be as well, because here is the difference in them, and it's not a whole bunch of difference. It's not at all. So, you know, you do what you want to do for popping things up. I don't ever want you to feel like you have to just because I do. And then we're going to go over here about 1/4 inch from the edge. And I've got the pages side by side. Let me make sure they line up. That's why everyone needs 2 mats instead of 1. And it will end right there. Okay, there you go. Now we have that top border on. This is a very simple pattern to do. We're going to next line up our photo mats. Okay, so this photo mat goes right against the edge. Both of the inside ones do. And that is 4 inches from the bottom, and the next one is 3.5. Okay, so this is where you'll want to line up your paper on your mat. And this is where I would give it a little bit of, unless you are confident that it's going to hold well or are not that particular, I put a little bit of mint tape on the corners to hold it down, just because I don't want it to pop up. And then I'll measure across on the 4-inch line and go ahead and put these photo mats down. And this one goes right against the edge. And then we're going to move down to 3.5. I always leave about 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch. This has just a whisper of room between the photo mats. So not even 1/8 inch. Just a little bit so that you can see that there's a background, but not really that much. Now let's go back to the 4-inch mark. This gives, by doing alternating mats like this, you get just a little bit of whimsy on your page, and on a Halloween page, that's really nice. Okay, there we go. Now we'll go over here and we're going to start, because this one was at 4 inches, this one is going to start at 3.5 on this side so that we can keep that alternating flow between the two layouts. And let's get that mint tape up and hold this one in place. Okay, so 3.5 inches on this one, and it's going to be right against the inside edge or the right edge of the left page. And then we'll go up to 4. It's really easy if you have everything right in place. Makes it really easy to do that movement with your ruler. And that's where the mint tape comes in handy. Gosh, I think it's on sale for just $2.99 a roll, so if you need some. And remember, you can always reuse it afterwards. I reuse it as long as it'll stick. And then this one is at 3.5. And there's just that little bit of room in between. So you can see how alternating them really adds a lot more interest to the page than if they were all straight across. It's kind of as if you were tilting it, but not really. It gives it a little bit more interest. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is let's get that, let's get the spider web done so we can put that down. So I need to move these pages and get some black cardstock and my Spiderweb Punch. Remember, we open it on this end and it pops open. We're going to line it up with that little black line on the left. And we're not doing this as a round. We're not going around the page. We're doing a straight one. So I'm going to line it up and then bring it over here to line it up with this one right here. Okay? We want a straight spider web for the bottom of this paper. This punch is really easy. Use the back of your hand and it works really nice. And that's the last one. Now I'm going to leave that on there and just turn it over and do the same thing because I need 2 of them. Actually, when you're building a layout, you can do things in any order you want. When I'm teaching it to you, I like to do it in the order that makes the most sense. But however you build the layout is fine with me. It's going to be, as long as it all goes together, that's all that matters. This one's got a little excess on the edge, so I'm going to punch it one more time. Okay. All right, we'll take the scraps out of there and throw that away. Okay, now I want to cut this down. We need how many spider webs? We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spider webs. So we're going to cut in between there, and we need to cut off the spider web from this sheet of paper. So I'm going to line this up, and your spider web's going to be about just a little over an inch, okay? Just enough to leave an edge on, but not enough that it's too thick of an edge. So I'm lining it up on the right side of my trimmer. If you don't have this trimmer, you know how your trimmer works. We're leaving it just a little over an inch, not even an eighth, maybe a 16th, but not even that, I don't think. And running it down there so we have a very little edge on there. And if you wonder, you can line up your paper with this little white arrow on your trimmer, or you can pull down these little plastic things, and that will show you where it cuts, okay? All right, I'm gonna set this black paper aside because we're going to need it. And now we're going to put 5 spider webs on each page. So I'm not even going to put adhesive along here. I'm going to use dots of glue just along the top of the spider web. Those bottom ones don't need any adhesive on them. They're going to be fine. And this is such strong glue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's exactly what we needed. And we'll line that up with the edge, the 5th one. Go. I've got it right with this line right above the bottom of this paper, okay? And I'm just going to cut off this extra. And now I'll grab the other sheet and do the very same thing. And I'm just putting dots of the Barely Art Precision Glue. You see how small the dots are? This stuff is strong. When it's on your layout, it's on your layout. So you don't have to worry about it coming off at all. This is very strong glue. Just always make sure to cap it or put your pin in. I keep a pin in there because I use it pretty much every day. Okay. So I want to start on this end and put it right on top of that paper. And just give it a press. And don't worry if there's excess glue that shows. This dries clear as can be. You don't have to worry about it. And there you go. Look at how easy that was to use this as a border, a spider web border. Now, we've got the pumpkin border that we're going to add. So let's grab this pumpkin border. And careful when you pull this off. Don't go too fast because right between the small one and the tall one, it can rip. These have holographics in them, so those can tear. So you want to go a little bit easy. Now, I'm going to start the pumpkin right about in the center of that spider web. And I'm putting it flat to the page so you can see the difference. And then just cutting off the extra. And I always keep the extra because you just never know where you might want to use it or something like that. This is really cute paper with these holographics in it. Now you're just gonna go on the same thing. You're gonna go in the center of that spider web. And I wanna make sure they're lining up, so I'll get my pages straight and they're all lined up. And cut that off, cut the extra off. And there you go. Now you have your pumpkin border. And again, you're not going to see that it does too much, that it makes too much difference by whether you pop it up or whether you have it flat. So let that be your decision all the time, what you want to do. Next, let's grab those orange striped pieces. There should be 6 of them. And I've been moving my paper around here, so I think one dropped on the floor. Yep. Now, let's go ahead and dovetail the bottom of those. I'm going to do a couple at a time. And I'm just going to go up the middle just a little bit. Do you see how little my scissors is going up? You can always cut more, but you can't cut less. And so I go up the middle and then from side to side, and I flip it over because it just makes it easier for me. And let's see where we have to cut this off. Okay. All right, now let's grab the next 2 and do the same thing, just that little bit of dovetail, because why? Because we can always cut more, but we can't cut less, just like I said before. And so you want to make sure that you have that room in case something doesn't work for you. Next, we'll grab the last 2 and just that little bit of a cut. And then we are going to cut those up from the corner to the middle. And you've got your dovetails. And you will hear me call them dovetails, not banners or anything like that, because for years and years I've been calling them dovetails. And I think it would confuse me if I had to call them something else. So you'll always, when you hear me say dovetailing, that's what that is. Looks just like a dove's tail. All right, now I'm just gonna grab my sponge dauber, and it's probably got enough ink on it. And I'm just gonna wipe the edges with that black. Wipe that little V. And there's going to be 3 on that side and 3 on the right page. Okay, I'm going to move my mats over a little bit. I see I've been moving. Alrighty, now this is going to go about 1/8 of an inch away from the purple edge or the dotted edge and right to the top of the paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere those down. Go right up to the top of the paper and right against the edge. Now a lot of times I'll do those doodling lines after the fact once everything is built. And that's not a problem either. You can do it after the fact if you want. I just think it's really nice to have that flow right through the middle. Like on my original pages, you won't see that black line. And on these you will, because I managed to get it done before. I think it was something that I thought of doing at the end when I designed this. For years and years and years, and I mean that, I taught Halloween for close to my heart at conventions and events. And so it's amazing to me that I have any ideas left for Halloween, but I really love the colors in this paper pack. And I have the one layout of Chester, and this will be this year's layout of Chester. So this is not going to go to waste. And there we have those on top there. That's just really a sweet way to finish it. I want to talk a little bit about this square right here, because I think it's important that I make sure that you have a journaling spot. And so I'm going to show you how to make lines. We're going to make sure the paper's straight, because when you're making lines, you probably want it straight. Although it's a real trend to have crooked lines, just doodling lines. And I'm going to use my black marker, my black microchip, to make 5 lines. And I'll just start over here and end somewhere over here. Then I'm going to go up 1/4 inch. If you have a nice ruler like this that tells you what your 1/4 inch is, it makes it really easy. But you can also read on the side of the mat to get your 1/4 inch. But always make sure you do a little bit of journaling. Something that I like to ask people when they're scrapbooking is, tell me about that picture. And if you think that before you scrapbook it every time, you will always have what you need to say. Ask yourself, what about this picture? What can I tell someone about this picture? And then for certain, you're going to have enough to fill those lines. If you think you don't have enough to fill the lines, you will, because you'll be thinking about how you felt or how something happened, or something like that. I'm going to put a little bit of powder on this edge because I don't want it to go down over that picture spot. So I'm just going to put a little bit of powder. And we have October 31st. And once the photo is down, then you can add a little adhesive. And then I want my Happy Halloween. And that's going to go right above October 31st. And then I'm going to grab this Boo sticker. And you can use 3D foam squares on it if you want. I'll leave it down so you can see what it looks like down. Okay, and then I want the pumpkins on the other sticker sheet. And I'm going to lift this up a little bit because I want those pumpkins to be underneath the Boo. That makes a little bit of a cluster when you do that. So the pumpkins will be right in line with that. That bottom pumpkin will be in line with Happy Halloween and then Boo on top. Okay? And then you've got your lines for journaling. How cute is that? Let's finish up with some more stickers. We're going to use one of the stickers that has a little, it doesn't really matter, whatever spiders you want to grab. And we'll put one down here. We want those spiders on the web. And then one right here. And we'll move this over again so you can see. And on this page, we have another one on this web. It's kind of going to go on the same ones. And I know I might have to grab the other sheet for the other spider. No, there must be a 4. Oh, here it is. Okay. And then you've got your spiders crawling up your spider web. I love that. This kit is so cute. Now we're going to grab bats. We have a larger purple one here and a small one here and another small one on the other side. We're going to take 2 of those small ones and go ahead and put them down. This is the large one. We'll use the large one all alone. And put him right up there. And then over here, I put the best costume and then a Halloween banner. I'm gonna leave that empty for now. I wanna wait and see what I wanna put. I have a lot of stickers left over. So I'm gonna wait and see what Halloween brings us and then end up putting my stickers on. I might want Creep It Real or Stay Spooky or something like that. So I'm just gonna wait on that one. We have a lot of stickers left, like I said. But now we're going to grab a border punch, the bats and stars. I'm gonna move this out of the way and grab my border making system, which I love, love, love so much. Let's see if I've got any comments. Oh, Teresa, it's okay. It's perfectly okay. All right, now remember, this is the border making system, this right here. Let's start from the beginning. So you get this in your border maker system. The first thing you want to do is pull this bottom out because that's going to be your paper guide. Then you're going to put this cartridge right in with these teeth out. And the reason that you want those teeth out is they're going to line up and lock in on these places on your border making system. Now I know I tell you this every time I use it, but I think it really helps just to hear it over and over again, and we never know when we have someone new. So I'm going to line up my black paper with this guide and put this down. This magnetically holds it in place so you don't have to worry. And then I'm going to fold that guide back. I want the other part of my border making system to be able to go in those little notches. So there's a little line right here and a little tab right there. You're gonna line that up and it fits perfectly in those notches. It's such an incredible thing. And I actually only need a few stars, so I'm gonna stop right there because all I want is stars for this. When you go to take your cartridge out of this, you just press this little button and there it is. Simplest thing in the world, so foolproof and so easy to use. Now I want to put some stars up here on these dovetailed pieces. So I'm going to just put a few glue dots up there. And I'm putting the pin in my, and then I'm gonna grab the picker-upper tool. I don't know if that's what it's called, but gosh, that seems like a good name. And then grab a star and put it over the glue, okay? And grab a star. And you can angle them different ways. And that's what I want up there, is those 3 little stars. Isn't that cute? It's a great way if you don't need the bats, because we had sticker bats and so I didn't need them. So now we're going to put some stars on the other one. And then our layout is done. It was that quick and easy. I'm going to put 4 little dots of glue. No, let's do 5 because that seems like a better, you always want uneven numbers. And grab my little picker-upper tool again and put the star down. Don't worry about any glue that oozes out because it's not going to matter. It all dries so super clear. You can see why this pickup tool and the glue are so helpful, the liquid glue. So any type of glue that you have that gives you little dots, that would be excellent. And there you go. Now the only other thing, and I'll put these bats away to use at another time, the bats and stars. The only other thing I have on this layout is a more candy. We put our candy in the Lodge Pot and the kids take it out of there. And so I have the more candy sticker right here. I had best costume in Halloween right there. And I had popped some of my things up, like I said. But otherwise, we've done everything else exactly the way it was done on the layout photo that I gave you. Okay? So that is the layout. Now I'm really excited to get to teaching you the candy treat holders. And we're going to do this one right here. Okay? So I've got a piece of Gravity Grape cardstock and I'm going to score it. Now on your sheet, on your directions, on the first sheet down below here, it'll tell you to cut the pieces and then you're going to score it at these marks, okay? So I'm going to grab my trimmer and I'm going to replace the cutting blade. Lift that up and replace the cutting blade with the scoring blade. The one that says scoring. The words always go to the left and then you pop that down. Now it won't cut, it'll just score. So let's make sure you can see this. I'll bring it a little closer to me. I'm going to score at 1 1/4. And then at 2 inches. And then at 3 3/4. This makes the perfect little mini candy holder, the mini snack size bars. This is 4 1/2. Now we need to open this up and go to 7 3/4. This holds 2 little snack-sized candy bars in it, and I love that about it. Okay, so now you've got it scored in all those places, and you see how easy that is to do with the Creative Memories trimmer. And then you just pop that out, the scoring blade, put the straight blade back in for cutting, and then put this scoring blade back in the back of the trimmer. So easy to do without a lot of fuss. Okay, so now we've got these score marks. If you have a bone folder, go ahead and use your bone folder to fold, but I'll show you what to do if you don't. We're going to use the ends of the scissors, and I'm just going to use the handle to fold that down, and we're going to fold them all the same way. Okay, this is a great pattern, so be sure to hang on to this because you'll use it again. I can show you near Christmas time how you can use it for Christmas. You know, you can use it for Easter, any little treats, and these are nice treat holders for coworkers, for kids, doesn't matter who. And see, the end of my scissors scored this just fine, or folded the score marks just fine. Okay, now we started at that 1 1/4 inch mark. We're going to bring that up and make a box out of it. Just fold it right up, okay? So you're going to, this will end up being the front, and this will be the inside, and then this will be the front of the box as well. So I would like to actually put my paper on first. So I'm going to flip it over to this side. You do not have to do it this way. I just think it's a little bit easier. Oh, and if you want to sponge the edges, you can. I'll leave these without so that you can see the difference. And I'm just going to put this paper right up there. And I think I cut it a little long. I did, so your directions are a little long. Oh, wait a minute. This is the piece that gets glued down. So this is going to be the piece that gets the paper on it. Sorry about that, you guys. And I want it at the bottom of that fold. Okay. The next piece that you'd put on there is this piece right here that folds over the front, and I have you using dotted paper for that. So on the back side, here is where you will put your paper. You'll put it on the second fold on the bottom, or the third 1, 2, 3 sections and the bottom, and this will not come all the way up, and it doesn't matter. You'll see why. And then on the last one, you'll put the 3 by 2.5. Okay? Now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm okay to wait to use this one, because to put the paper in this one, because it's going to be flat. All right, now we do want adhesive on here. I'm gonna get my craft adhesive. This is the crafting adhesive, and it's a little bit stronger. You'll see it lays down. It also has some gumminess to it, but it's a very strong adhesive. And to put this together so that it doesn't fall apart, I think it's an excellent adhesive to have. So we fold that up, make this little box, and press that down. So, ooh, I got it crooked a little bit. And that's not coming up. It's going to have to stay crooked. So just know that if you use the craft, it doesn't come up. I'll just cut a little off the edge here where it's showing that it's crooked, and that doesn't matter at all. Okay, now the next piece of paper is going to go in there. And I have the same paper on the inside that I have on the front cover. So that will go right along the inside. Now I'm gonna grab some candy bars. I had to go buy some new ones. I used up all the other ones. So I'm gonna grab 2 of these because 2 will fit in there. I wanna use this Kraft Max tape to tape the back of this candy bar if I can. It's not coming off on there. So I'm gonna have to use glue dots for this. Let's just take it off with the scissors. And these are strong glue dots too. Okay. Wow, that's a strong one. All right, so 2 glue dots. And throw that away. Now we're going to tuck this inside. And just give it a little push so that it holds. And you see you have your little candy bar in there. Okay? Next, I'm going to run some of this adhesive right on this paper. And then I'll be able to put this candy bar right there. Then I'll be folding this over just like that. And inside you have 2 little treats for someone. It's really a cute way to do things. And when I closed this, I used a mini glue dot because that doesn't really affect anything. I put a little mini glue dot right there so that it wouldn't fall apart. And then just tucked it down. How easy is that? Now I've got some black and white. I love gingham for many holidays. And I think I told you, I just go to Joann's and Michael's after the holidays and look for this kind of stuff so that I have it for all year. Now I'm going to grab a little glue dot, and if you don't learn anything else, this might be a good tip for you, to put a little glue dot where your bow is going to go so that when you try to tie the bow, it's not loose and limpy all over the place. So see right where that knot went, there's a glue dot holding it still for me. And then I'll tie a little bow. And bring my arms of my bow out. I need a fabric kind of scissors for this ribbon. And I've got the bow there. Now I'm going to grab my stickers and my 3D foam dots. And let's see what I've got left for stickers. I really liked these cats. They're so cute. So I'm going to grab this one that's standing up. Be careful when you pull these off. They have holographics and they'll tear. And then I want to grab, I think, if you're, ghouls just want to have fun is great if you're giving this to a coworker. So cute, it's scary. Let's grab that one. And I'll kind of put that cat behind there. And then I want to put some 3D foam squares on here. Yep, I use a lot. I heard you at home thinking, boy, she's using a lot of foam squares. I do. I do on my layouts. I do on things like this. I never want anything to fall apart when I give it to somebody. And so I'm willing to keep in mind that adhesive is like toilet paper. You got to have it. And it's not a fun expense, but... And then I'm going to tuck that on there. And you have a treat holder for someone. It's so absolutely easy and adorable that you will love making these to hold 2 bars. Well, Teresa, do you think like me that if something fell apart when you gave it to someone, it would be so sad? I just always worry about that with the gift items and little things like this. So we've got that. Now I'm going to show you how to do a candy bar. The ones that I made were actually movie theater boxes that you buy at the store for like $1.50 or whatever they are. and it's 6x7 paper. And I wanted to show you how to do, like if you bought a big Hershey's bar or something, how to do that as well. And that is also 6x7 paper. So the first thing I want to do is tuck those ends in. And so I'm going to grab just a little bit of, because my Scotch tape isn't handy, I'm going to just grab a little bit of packing tape and fold that down. Okay? That just makes a nice clean edge on this. Okay. So now we have that nice edge, and I have this 6x7 paper. So it's 6 wide. If you're using something else, if you want to wrap anything at all you need to do is measure the length of what you're wrapping, okay? And then measure around. And you can do that with a tape measure if you have one handy. I just always go ahead and go around, and that gives me the 7 inches that I need. You could probably get by with 6x6 on this, and this works really well too for, uh-oh, I'm out of this one, I think. No? This works really well for wrapping popcorn. So if you want to do little popcorn holders, if you're giving out popcorn for Halloween. No, this needed 6x7. And see how you just wrap it around? It's so easy. Look at how easy that is to make a treat holder. Now I'm going to grab a glue dot to put where I want my knot to be. And I'm going to grab that ribbon again and go around. And bring my knot right to where that glue dot is so that it holds it in place for me. It is absolutely awful to try to tie a bow and not have it secure on the bottom. And if you end up wanting to do like twine or something, this is where you'd put a piece of twine underneath here and then push it down so that you'd have that twine in a good spot too. You especially want to do that in a scrapbook because if you're using any twine or anything else, my ends are going to go up this time. That's fine. There you go. Now we'll grab some more. I think we're going to grab the witch's cauldron this time. We'll grab this one right here. And then, oh, let's ride is kind of, oh, but it's purple. We don't want purple on the back. So let's grab, we'll grab Halloween for the, oh, more candy is good. Okay, and I'm gonna put this across the cauldron a little bit so that it sticks on there, and then put my 3D foam squares right along here. Okay, this is an easy way to do treats. Really nice way to dress something up, you know, a simple candy bar, just dress it up And I know when I used to do craft shows, this was one of the favorite things that people bought, was these big candy bars. They loved them for coworker gifts, teacher gifts, putting them in stockings for older kids, things like that. And they love the popcorn. So we've got all kinds of treats as well, and I've taught you how to make them, so you should have no problem with that. And here's the ones in green. And I did these boxes with ghosts and stars, and then I did this candy bar in a star tonight. So, wow, we really did a lot in just an hour. That was amazing. And it's such a fun workshop. I hope that you really enjoy this one, whether you just save the pattern. The pattern will always stay in the files, so you'll have it in the files, and you can access it there, or if you print it off and put it in whatever cabinet you put things in. I just don't want it anywhere online, you know, like on Pinterest or anything. So there you go. You're going to be ready for Halloween. I hope that you have a great time making this, and go get yourself a bag of treat bars, snack size bars, and make a bunch of these for friends, and get some full size things and make some more of those. Those are really cute to give. And I think I have a lot of nieces and nephews that are going to get all of this. So, all right, that is it for Booyah. And let me see if I can go back and read any comments. Teresa, I think everyone needs the Creative Memories trimmer. It's so nice. Yeah, that glue dot where you tie the bow is essential. Oh, I'm glad you use a lot of foam too. You are very, very welcome. Thanks, Nedra. Thanks for saying that. It's just a fun time of the year to start doing some gifts, and this ramps us up for Christmas when we really do a lot of gifts. So you guys have a great night. If you have any questions at all, whether you've watched this now or whether you've watched it another time, just ask away, and I will always comment and answer for you. All right, talk to you soon.